Um, this is my presentation about foster changes to the foster care system. My name is Connie Williams, and I want to present this essay to you today. The first thing I want to talk about is the changes that the policy change that must change within the foster care system. From my perspective, it needs to be top priority for most children because our children are slipping through the cracks. They're not receiving the help that they need. And I believe children will continue to be abused and neglected if they don't receive proper help. And I think that it needs to come from start from the bottom up, child protective services and different agencies to help implement changes in the foster care system. The second thing I would do as far as the foster process is concerned, in my opinion, one financial system. Um, my opinion, one financial system may change the underfunded foster care system because it is extremely underfunded. Some states may have more um, funds for children and parents, the parents that take care of the children. But for the most part, that's not the case. It's very sad that most of these children that have been in abusive situations and gone through all this hurt and pain, then they have to enter into someone's home, and the finances are not there to really help them deal with things they may need to deal with. And the basics, food, shelter, small things, clothes, and things like that. And the next thing I would do as far as the foster process is concerned, an in-depth background check for potential foster parents in every state may help abused and neglect children because they need um, the background check. Most states do require background checks, but for the most part, some states they don't in the beginning. They can allow children to um, enter into their homes, and what a foster care system within that state will send children in different homes that may not have had the proper background check needed for each potential parent or a guardian that's in that inside foster parent that would be in there and guardian that would be in there taking care of our most vulnerable children. The next thing I want to talk about is overcrowding within the system itself. Overcrowding it really has resulted in homes and institutions to lack foster homes and institutions to lack adequate supervision. Excuse me, and as a result, countless children are being placed in unsafe facilities, and this needs to change because children. I mean, if the funds were there, I believe then there'll be more foster care systems. I mean, foster homes and institutions. But because of that, one of the reasons and one of a result that has happened from that is overcrowding, and it's just sad to see all these children placed in places they shouldn't be, in homes and institutions they shouldn't be in, but they have no choice because they have to remove the children from those abusive homes, and then like I said before, they end up most children will end up back in another place of abuse, and that could be lack of proper proper adequate supervision. And so, moving right along, the next thing I would do the changes for children. Um, the changes would be for children. The chances are, I'm sorry, let me back up just a little bit. the chances for children to experience abuse and neglect is extremely high in overcrowded foster homes. And that's because, going back again, lack of adequate supervision. And then when you lack adequate supervision, um, abuse and neglect tend to be very, very high in those facilities. So that must change also, in my opinion. And nearly 75% of children are placed in the foster care, in the care of non-relatives, and and this may contribute to overcrowding that exists within the foster care system. And that was a quote by the journal. And so, and it's, like I said before, nearly 75% of children are placed in the care of non-relatives, and that is end quote there. And then, and this, in my opinion, may be why so much overcrowding exists within the foster care system. And there's different levels of this, different reasons why, but it can cause psychological and mental abuse, sexual abuse. All these things can happen in these overcrowded homes, and this is why funding needs to continue for places in order to clamp down on overcrowding and so that children can have adequate space to live. Emotional, and this is another subject, emotional and mental problems that does exist within the foster care system. And in my opinion, again, every child's emotional and mental health should always be assessed. And this may help children feel happier and safe, or happy and safe. Because, if they're emotionally exhausted or emotionally um, just full of pain and hurt and sadness, and this will affect their mental capabilities. And so, because of that, I think that when children enter each facility or foster home, wherever they enter, um, this must be addressed at all times. This must be one of the first things, in my opinion, that should be done. Their emotional and mental health should be addressed or assessed to make sure that they're okay. The second thing, the emotional pain abused children face is extremely, it's monumental. So one-on-one time with children is helpful and encouraged in most cases. And they do need that one-on-one time, either with a professional or even just with a parent, a foster parent, or someone, a guardian that's taking care of the child. So this is something that children really need in order to thrive, in order to be successful, in order to move forward. I believe they really need this to happen. And this is a quote again. Well, the first part is most children in foster care experience trauma. And according to Howard, trauma is an emotional response. Um, I'm quoting him now, to an intense event that threatens or causes harm. End quote there. But this is about trauma, um, and that's part of the mental and emotional stability of children, because the trauma can be very, very high for these children um, that have suffered abuse in their own home, and then they come into the foster care system, and that in and of itself is very traumatic. And most children would rather be at home enduring a lot of this pain than to leave their home, the safety, what they know is being safe, even though they were being abused, than to go into a stranger's home. So we have to, or parents or foster parents and institutions that care for children have to make sure at all times that these things are addressed, these health issues are addressed, their emotional issues are addressed, just to keep the children grounded and feeling safe within their new environment. And the last thing I want to talk about today is when children age out of foster care system, out of the foster care system. And when most children, young adults, reach the age of 18, they have to leave 18 in most states. Some I think it's 21. I believe it's 21. They usually age out of the system, and this can lead to many uncertainties for young adults, if they're not given the proper support they need also. So that's, aging out of foster home can be extremely scary, because they're not receiving that extra help that they had been receiving before. Now they're out there on their own trying to survive. And like I said, some 18 and some 21. The second thing is there are foster homes and institutions that do provide safe environments and help young adults transition into a new way of living. However, support is rarely available. And that's just, I'm trying to say that even though some places do provide these, um, safe homes and environments and all those things and help young people transition, help them move into their own apartment, this is not the case. This is not the norm in most cases. That this is just doesn't happen too much, but it does happen. And I wanted to bring that um, to the attention and let everyone know that this is something that does happen. And according to the American Journal, between 46% of youth had experienced at least one episode of homelessness by the age of 26. And to me, that's extremely sad to know. It makes me want to cry just thinking about it right now while I'm speaking about it, just knowing these young adults who've gone through all this trauma, some of them, for the most part, because they have been abused and they had to stay in the foster care system. They couldn't leave and go back home with their parents. They had to stay there until they aged out of foster care. And now they may feel they're being victimized, or they may feel bad because they're homeless and they have no place to go. So to sum everything up, I was trying to make the case that my essay, I'm hoping I'm able to get across, as far as the policy change all the way through to overcrowding. And then I have emotional and mental abuse and help that children may need, and then aging out of foster care. All of these are part of the things that create a circle, or need to be hand in hand or go hand in hand in order to provide some assistance, and I believe would help provide assistance and help children who who need it throughout their lives and can't go back home because of the abuse, and or the parent hasn't changed, or whatever the case may be. So, like I said, my name is Connie Williams, and this is my essay today. Um, and the name of it again is Changes to the Foster Care System. Thank you.